2,000 years ago, 753 BC, it was the center of the Roman Empire. They worshipped the 12 Roman gods, and it was the time period of the gladiators and the famous Roman legend about the Roman twins. What many people don't know is how big the Roman Empire was. The Romans were the masters of the entire Mediterranean world, including most of Europe, the Middle East area, and North America. Roman children did not go to school. They were taught at home by their parents. If their parents were, for example, shoemakers, then they would become shoemakers because that is what their parents taught them. Only towards the ending of the Roman times, the rich Roman kids got educated by other people than their parents. Their parents would have educated slaves tutor them. When the Romans invaded Greece, the Greeks already had made progress in medics. They knew more about how the body worked than the Romans and how to cure and stop diseases from spreading. But the Romans forbid any data that had been collected by the Greeks to be applied to their medics, which caused them to slow down on the medical platform. The Romans believed that diseases were caused by the Roman gods and that they were also the ones that could cure you. Another belief of cause of illness was that a psychic made you ill, because psychics in that time were believed to be connected with witches and devils. They believed that the human body should not be dissected after death, so they did not learn a lot about the inside of the human body. And because they did not understand how the human body worked, because they had never seen the inside of one, their beliefs on how the body worked in that time differed from the gods controlling what happened to now famous Roman doctors who had different ideas and found different ways to try and prove it.
The ancient Romans had a wide variety of herbs and other remedies used for healing. For example, fennel was used to calm the nerves down, unwashed wool was used for sores, egg yolk was given to patients with dysentery, sage was said to have more religious value and used by those who still believed that the gods could heal them. Garlic, doctor said garlic was good for the heart, and so on. Green jasper was thought good for the stomach problems. Okitokia stones worn by pregnant women in hope for a quick childbirth seemed to be popular. Pills were made using plants and herbs and a type of metallic ingredient. For example, a pill used to treat a bad cough would contain saffron, myrrh, pepper, costumary, galbanum, cinnamon, castoreum, and poppiteers. This demonstrates the love of exotic herbs and trust in everyday goods that the Romans doctors had. For example, Cato strongly believed in the medicinal properties of cabbage, which was considered to help digestion. Surgery was considered as a last resort. Usually, all Roman surgeons got their experience on the battlefield. They carried a toolkit with tools such as forceps, scalpels, arrow extractors, and so on. Roman doctors were experts at practical first aid and external surgery. They could do a large number of simple external operations. Roman caesarean sections were usually performed to save the baby for women who had died during childbirth. Roman doctors did not have anesthetics, and had only herbal antiseptics, so successful surgical operations would have been extremely difficult for them to perform. There was concern for the patient's comfort and a realization of the futility of causing further pain when recovery was unlikely. Wounds were stitched following surgery using flax, linen threads, or metal pins. Dressings were of linen bandages or sponges, and either dry or wet. Cases which were most commonly brought to the attention of doctors were ailments such as skin, digestion, and fertility problems, bone fractures, gout, depression, dropsy, or fluid retention, and even epilepsy.
Claudius Galen, a Greek-born Roman physician, writer, and philosopher. made significant discoveries that changed medicine forever. Galen was born in the year of 129 CE and was raised by a wealthy family. He originally studied to become a philosopher, but at 16, he decided to study medicine instead. He studied medicine in Alexandria, Egypt for decades before going back to Greece, where he became the chief physician for gladiator troops. In 162 CE, he traveled to Rome to become a doctor, where he made significant discoveries about the human body. Since Rome was a very religious country, dissecting corpses was a big taboo, and was later declared as illegal. So he trespassed into tombs with broken doors a few times, and took hours and hours to study and memorize all the bones he saw. He frequently conducted animal dissections on apes, pigs, sheep, and goats, since he believed that these animals are the biologically closest to human. With his fascinating autonomy demonstrations, a wealthy background, curing the incurable, and relations to famous philosophers, his popularity and reputation grew rapidly. He later spent the rest of his life on finding cures and research further about the human body. Galen was most famous for his discoveries about the human body, which revolutionized medicine for the next 1,500 years. He distinguished 7 pairs of cranial nerves, which are nerves that are directly connected to the brain. Described the valves of the heart, observed different arteries and veins, and revealed that arteries carries blood, not air, which was a misconception for at least 400 years. Furthermore, he proved that the brain controls speech, movement, thought, and sensation. In a vivisection demonstration, he stabbed a living pig in order to make it continuously squeal, cut its head open, and disconnected the nerve that is responsible for voice. The pig silenced immediately. Galen too was famous for his theory of the opposite. This means that when a patient has a cold, he or she needs to eat spicy food, and if a patient has a runny nose, he or she needs to eat spicy and dry food. This theory worked for a lot of common and minor illnesses most of the time, but not major diseases since they require more than just spicy food. But Galen also made about 200 plus mistakes, such as stating that blood is created in the liver and that humans have 2 jaws, which is correct for a dog but not for a human. For the next 1,500 years, his discoveries dominated and heavily influenced medicine in Europe and the Middle East, not just back then, but now a lot of information we have about the human body is all thanks to discoveries made by Galen.